Hello friends, welcome to C Sharp Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching part 5 of the project settings subseries. In this video, we are going to see what is a compiler switch. So these are all the slides from previous parts. Now let us look at conditional compilation. So first we will set the compiler switch. Say for example, state we will set a switch called log. So we will set this as part of a compiler switch, and we will do that through project settings. Once this compiler switch is done, then the compilation will proceed for this specific switch. Say for example, we will have a list of code. Then we will have tag like this inside our code. And if you see, when this setting is turned on, so when this switch is not turned on, the compiler will compile this piece of information. Then let's say there is some other line of code, the compiler will run this. So the code between this log tag, this will not get compiled. When we turn this on, then code flow occurs. If you see here, it compiles all the statement, and that includes the statement in between this compiler switch log. So the code will be generated for all this. So we know that our math user project will make use of our DLL. Then it generates the output of given two numbers. That means number 1 and number 2 is given. It calculates the sum, then it will print 10 here. So based on this conditional compilation, we will put a exclamation mark after this result. So this is just a demo purpose. We are going to test this, but in usual case, people will use this conditional compilation to generate a specific binary information based on this switch. Say for example, here it is log. So when we turn on this as part of compiler switch, we will generate code that produces the log information. Let's assume that this will produce log information, and it will write it to the some log file. So you are aware that there is a mode for debug as well as release. So debug also, if you see, Microsoft implements this debug based on this compiler switch. So the compiler switch will be debug, and in code you may see # if debug, then some piece of information, then # end if. So during debug mode only, the code will compile and it will generate some output, and when it is in release mode, it won't compile. So the same stuff we can demo here in this video. So we are going to use a compiler switch called COND, and when this switch present, we will append this explanation towards the result. Let's go to the demo. Here our math user project is opened. Let's go to properties. Then select the build menu from the project settings. And if you see here, we have conditional compilation symbols. So here, if you have multiple symbol, you can separate that with comma. For now, we will put a symbol as COND, conditional compilation. So now when you build the code, the compiler will check for this specific symbol, and if this symbol present, then it will include the piece of code to compile, otherwise it will skip it. Let's go to the project. Here is where we generate our code. So we already set the switch, and if you see here we are making the conditional compilation. So we keep if COND. COND is defined here as part of project settings. So the same symbol COND. So if this symbol presents, then we are appending these symbols, these explanation marks in our result. So we take a result in the label text, then we append these three special characters. So let me generate this. So the output is delivered to C temp1. You can see the 11 is printed with 3 explanation mark. Now let's go ahead. See, here I am not going to change the code. I'm going to change only the settings. So in the settings, now I remove this and I am rebuilding it. Let's go ahead and execute this. So this time those mark is gone. So likewise, in your project you can keep multiple conditional statement like this. So in C++ it's nothing but preprocessor directive. Here also it's a similar kind of concept. So these conditions are not checked during the runtime. These conditions are checked when we perform the compilation. So during the compilation, the compiler will check whether this switch is set in the project settings. So at this time the switch is not set. So when compilation process goes on, it knows that the switch is not set as part of the properties, so it will not generate this code. But when we set the conditional statement, then the compiler will generate this code, and the translated code will be the one that get included in the executable file. So when we execute the exe, we will see the result is appended here. So we can use this technique to add special logging or other purposes. So that's all here in this video. So just now you saw what is a conditional compilation. Thank you for watching. Bye.